And then, of course, what do we all think of what movie do we think of when someone lands in a wood chipper?
Oh, God, I don't even know offhand.
Oh, you should have been able to answer this immediately.
I should know this.
Yes, you should. Incredible movie. Person in the wood chipper. Police catch them while they're shredding this person.
Oh, wait, is it Fargo?
Yes, thank you.
Fargo, yeah,
I was like, I can't give you any more clues here. We're going to be here all night. So, yes, Fargo.
No. And we're back. Hey, peeps, did you miss us? This is the Scary Movie Project, the podcast where we talk about scary movies, share our perspectives as filmmakers, and might have Stockholm Syndrome for our spoilery spoilers. I'm Tara.
And we have returned. I'm still Matt, and it's great to see everybody out there. Hope everyone is doing great. I just thought I'd mention, in case you guys were wondering, or let you know that affable hillbillies Tucker and Dale are on vacation at their dilapidated mountain cabin when they are mistaken for murderers by a group of preppy college students. If it sounds familiar, it's probably because we're talking about the horror comedy Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Why did you say horror comedy that way? Like it's not a horror comedy.
Oh, no, I just was being silly about my words. I don't know. I didn't think I meant anything by it. Evil just messed with the wrong hillbillies.
Yeah.
And there's one line I love here about it that says, it celebrates genre conventions while turning the traditional view of horror movie heroes and villains upside down. And I think that's really great because that kind of really is a pretty accurate way of describing what this movie is.
That's kind of exactly what it does. I always say it flips the script.
It does.
The slasher movies.
It flips the script.
It flips the script.
It does. So this was 2000. I'm sorry, what year?
2010.
Yes, that's right. It's 2010.
2010. Directed by
low budget indie film. Yeah, right.
Yeah, directed by Eli Craig, who is Sally Field's son.
Not Eli Roth. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
No. Yeah.
Interesting.
And the only other feature film that he has directed is the horror comedy Little Evil.
I have not seen this.
Which I have not seen either.
I've not seen this. Sounds interesting.
And he also directed a pilot for the potential series that they were working on based on the movie Zombieland, which I thought was kind of cool. So it didn't get picked up.
Hey, did you ever see Zombieland 2, by the way?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is it good? I haven't seen it.
It's still fun. Yeah.
Okay. For those out there,
it's fun.
We should take a poll, vote if I should watch Zombieland 2. The answer, of course, is yes.
I mean, the answer is yes. If you liked Zombieland, watch Zombieland 2. It's fun.
It was pretty funny movie. And you know what? I want the apocalypse to come so I can walk around the world and be referred to as Arlington, or people can call me Virginia.
Right.
Yeah,
what would they would call me? Olney?
Yeah, I'll just call you Maryland.
Or Gaithersburg. Maybe G-burg.
I'll just call you Maryland.
Because that's where my hometown is, G-burg.
But didn't they call them by... No, they called... But yeah, city. That's right. It was city. Tallahassee, Wichita. That's right. Okay, it was by city.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
So let's see. It was also written by Eli Craig and Morgan Jurgensen, which I love that name.
Isn't that a great name?
Morgan Jurgensen. It's such a good name.
Hard to spell, but it's a lot of letters.
Yeah. Well, Jurgensen, Jurgenson, Jurgensen.
Well, maybe I meant in a way. I know what? Hard to spell in the sense that when you're a kid, it's probably hard to spell. And I bet when people type it in an email,
you're probably like,
it's probably because that could be. I'm listening to you say it, and I can think of 3 different ways to spell that. So
Morgan and Jurgen sound the same, and then so Morgan Jurgensen, it's like a rhymey thing.
I'm Morgan Jurgen's son.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a cool name.
It is cool.
Yeah, I like it. I found nothing interesting about Morgan Jurgensen except that he or she wrote this book with. Wrote this movie with Eli Craig. So there we go. So we open on found footage.
Okay, so of course what I thought of right away because they spoofed it very well. I thought,
of course,
right, and it even ends with the camera, the falling over thing at the end of Blair Witch. So I thought, okay, we're off to a great start. You got me already. So,
but I love how the woman on camera is talking to the cameraman, telling him not to be a pussy.
Right.
And then she gets knocked in the head.
Yeah.
And then the cameraman drops. We see the dead Cameron's face, and then the camera's turned around to show the killer, and he's grinning at the camera.
Right.
And then it's, the title, Tucker and Dale versus Evil. And then we get told that it's 3 days ago in the Appalachian Mountains of West Virginia.
Ah, yes.
And that's over a bunch of college kids driving down the road, and they're making fun of Hicks.
I'll point out, I've been to West Virginia many a time, to Morgantown, I'll just point out, which is West Virginia University. I have had a great time when I was there. I've not been to like the Appalachians or anything in West Virginia, but I've enjoyed my time in West Virginia. It's a beautiful state. Wild and wonderful.
It's a beautiful state.
It's actually closer than we really think. Like, if I left my house, I could be in West Virginia in like an hour and 45 minutes, quite frankly.
Well, and some of it is farther north than you think, too. Like, it's not all southwest of Virginia. Like, some of it actually comes up above.
It's an interesting. It's got a weird shape to it.
Yeah, it's got a weird shape.
No, it's a cool. It's a fun drive too. It takes 68 out there. It's nice.
Yeah, anyway, beautiful place though. Anyways, so these college kids are driving down the road. They're making fun of Hicks, and a pickup truck passes them, and the guy in the passenger seat like stares at them, and then one of the girls says, "You guys, we forgot the beer," and everybody goes, "No!"
Well, when you're that age and you're going to party, that's a pretty important thing to have.
Right? You got to have the beer. Hey,
I can tell you that from experience.
I have my beer.
Yes.
And my flannel in honor of Tucker and Dale. My only flannel that I own.
You should get the hat that he has.
I know. My husband was like, I think we have a trucker hat somewhere. And I'm like, yeah, but my headphones. Man. I was like, it won't work. I like his hat that says giver.
That's the one.
So I like it because it's like also like, we'll get here, but like he's a sweet guy and he is a giver. Yeah, that's like, good. So it works. Anyways, so the college kids stop at a gas station and the pickup truck is there. It's got a boat on top and there's like a big wood chipper on the trailer behind it. And the guy who is driving the pickup truck is inside at the counter. So the cashier is like reading his list of stuff that he's buying that he needs to buy to him, as Allison and one of the guys, these are from the college kids, go to the back to get beer. And
kind of reminds me of Cabin Fever, sort of, kind of, a little bit.
Yeah. By the way, when I say one of the guys, that's because there's like 3 dudes in this who are all the same dude pretty much,
which is on purpose. Yeah, they're just
like in the college crew, right? There's like 2 guys who you always knew who they are, and then there's 3 other guys who it's like I don't know which one he is. So
stereotypical.
I might get their names wrong. I might say the guy because they're all confusing because they're just like stereotypical college bros.
Pretty much, yeah.
So Allison and one of the guys go to the back to get beer, and the list that the cashier is reading to the driver for the pickup truck is all this like sort of creepy serial killer stuff.
Yeah.
Or, the stuff you'd need to do repairs, whichever.
Yeah.
One or the other.
No big deal.
Maybe a little bit of both. Who knows? So Allison then takes something off of a shelf and she comes face to face with the pickup truck passenger who had been staring at them. And Chloe comes in and she and Chloe beat a quick retreat back to the car. And then outside the pickup truck hits Hicks, which we now know are Tucker and Dale. Tucker was the driver and Dale was in the passenger seat. They watched the college kids, and Tucker, who is played by Alan Tiddock, who I love the most. I love him. And he encourages Dale, who's played by Taylor Labine or Labine, I'm not sure how to say it.
I don't know.
To talk to the girl who he thinks is cute, which is Allison. So Tucker tells him like to smile and laugh because that shows confidence. And so Dale walks over there and he's got this like huge scythe and he just walks over and he's ridiculously awkward.
Yes, very.
And he's like,
but it's
trying
so, like,
to be laughing and confident, but it's so real. It's like so real. Painful.
Yeah.
You're like this poor guy. And then Chad, one of the college kids, comes out and tells him back off.
Right.
And the college kids all get in the car and drive
and you
away.
Instantly don't like this guy, which is the way it's.
This guy's right. A dick. I mean, he's a Chad. Like he's a dick.
You've got like Karens. You have a Karen and you have Chads, right?
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
He's a Chad. Like it's another one of these things that they did. They're these stereotypical characters.
And it's perfect, right?
Just like usually the hillbillies are these stereotypical characters
That's right.
in horror flicks.
Deliverance. Oh man.
So Tucker and Dale continue on their way with their big doofy dog. It's actually Dale's dog, I think, officially, but I can't remember the dog's name. I could never quite tell what they were saying.
I'm sorry, I can't remember either yet. I don't know.
Yeah, like I don't know what the dog's name is, but he's really cute and he's doofy and he's adorable.
It's like a black and white shepherd or something, right?
He's like a big dog with like jowls.
Oh, what dog? Am I thinking of some other dog in the movie?
You're thinking of something else. I don't know, but
Sorry,
he's like
okay.
a big hulking dog with one of those wrinkly jowled faces.
Oh, I'm lunching. I'm thinking okay, whatever. I'm sorry. Yeah.
So Dale is telling Tucker, that he's like, I'm not good with the ladies like you are. And Tucker tells him he's got an inferiority complex. And then Tucker drops his beer in his lap just as a cop turns on his lights behind them. And Dale bends over to clean it up and he gets stuck. And then he finally gets loose, but his shirt gets ripped open. So it looks bad when the cop comes up. It looks a little awkward.
Yeah.
And they tell the cop
so far.
Yeah, definitely. And they tell the cop they're like going up to their cabin to fix it up, and the cop's like, well, ain't nothing up there but pain and suffering. And they're just like, okay, and they keep driving.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks.
he had only stopped them because their tail light was out. So it's like no big deal. But Tucker and Dale get to the cabin and it's like this wreck, and Dale just goes, oh my God. It's perfect.
Yeah, right.
And they go inside and it's all dusty and gross and they love it.
I kind of loved it too.
And I mean, if you cleaned it up, like it would be a cool cabin.
So that's one of the things like on my list of what I want. I really would like just some shack that I could buy for like nothing at all and just have it sit there and go up there every once or twice a month and just like fix it up. That'd be awesome.
See, to me, I feel like but every time I went up, I'd need to clean it every time I got there, and it'd just be such a pain in the butt.
I wouldn't even worry about cleaning. First, you just got to fix the damn thing up so it's livable, because half the
Well,
place,
yeah. But even if it was already livable, I'd be like, every time I went up there to relax, I'd be like, we need to clean it.
You would probably. But yeah, well, that's how it works.
That's not relaxing to me.
Depends
I'd rather stay at home where it's already been cleaned.
How quickly can you clean, though? So, anyway.
Well, true. But double cleaning? Ugh.
No, it's not fun.
I don't know. I'd rather rent one where they had to clean it.
Do it for you, yeah.
Do an Airbnb where someone else had to clean it for me.
It's already done.
So they're inside now, and there's some like super creepy stuff in there, including a bunch of news articles about a killer.
Right.
And they're like, oh, the previous owner must have been an archaeologist, well, and a news junkie.
Yeah.
And Tucker leans against a pole in the middle of the room, and he triggers a board with nails sticking out to swing down from the ceiling. And they're like, whoa, that needs to be fixed.
Yeah,
why
nothing
did that weird about it, just gotta be fixed.
How did that happen? What's going on here?
Yeah, definitely. They're like, oh, well, that should be fixed quickly. So meanwhile, the college kids are camping. And Chad tells them this scary story.
A la Friday the 13th.
Yes. About these very woods.
That's right.
20 years ago today.
Yeah.
He tells them about the Memorial Day Massacre. So we get a flashback of the kids from 20 years ago, and they're partying in the woods. And then a couple hicks show up and slaughter them.
Yep. It's great.
And or one hick. I wasn't sure if it was one or two. So that's the story, basically, that 20 years ago today, all these kids were partying in college, were partying up there, and they got killed by a hick, a hillbilly,
a backwoods crazy.
Yeah, there we go. So then that evening, Tucker and Dale are fishing in their boat in the lake, and Dale is going to let Tucker have the last beer. And then Tucker tells him like he needs to stick up for himself, right? But when he starts to stick up for himself, then Tucker's like, still won't give him the last beer. And he's like, no, but don't you even think about it. And he's like, yeah, but you said I needed to send. He's like, but what did I say last? I said that last. I love this movie. It just makes me laugh so much. I've probably seen it like 5 times now.
The dialogue with them it's like I said, it's real, I guess, kind of.
It's so real. It's so funny. Like, but it's a very like naturalistic kind of funny as opposed to like
it is.
It's
not lame characters. It's
totally. So Allison is alone at the car. Everyone's gone to Skinny Dip. And Allison is alone at the car, and Chad comes up on her. He's got an axe. And he tells her, she thinks she's better than everyone else. But then he's like, that's because you are. We both are. And he tries to make out with her, and she's totally not into it.
No.
And then all the other kids are gone down to Skinny Dip.
Where is she? She's very familiar, but I don't think I've seen. What is she in? I don't know that I've seen her in anything.
What is she in? She's
one of these random actors that I think is familiar.
Katrina Bowden is her name.
Katrina Bowden. I don't know the name.
She is in. Well, she not a lot.
That's what I'm saying. Like I feel like I recognize these people, then I look them up and I realize I've never seen anything they've done. So I'm wondering how I think they're familiar.
Okay, I'm glancing at it. I mean, she was in 30 Rock for a long time, I guess.
I have maybe seen 10 episodes of that show.
She had a lot of role. She was a big part in 30 Rock.
Yeah. So that well, for all I know, maybe the couple that I saw.
That's all I'm really getting.
Maybe the few that I saw had her, but maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. Then who knows? But she just seemed familiar to me for some reason.
Yeah. Well, she was in 30 Rock, so there's that. That's her other big thing that I noticed.
All right.
That I like actually recognized. Everything else I was kind of like,
that was a
Bold
funny,
and the Beautiful. Okay.
That was a funny show.
30 Rock. 30 Rock's a great show.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Yeah, that's a very funny show. So the kids have all gone down to Skinny Dip to the lake. Tucker and Dale see Allison, and she's like climbing down a rock to get into the lake. She's like in her bra and panties. She's climbing down a rock to get into the lake, but she notices them and she like screams and falls in. So they row over to help her, and Dale jumps in the water because she hasn't come up yet. And he jumps in the water and he gets her into the boat. And Chloe and I think it's Todd see it and are like, they've got Allison! And they scream and swim away, and they run and tell Chad and the others. And Allison wakes up in the cabin with her head bandaged, and the big old dog is like, like yawning at her. And Dale comes in with the tray, and she just starts screaming.
I would. I mean,
yeah, right. I mean, you would, right? You'd be like, "What the hell's going on?" But he goes,
"FMI."
He goes, "Oh, it's the pancakes. You hate pancakes. I'll make you something else." And out he goes.
Right. It's just the total opposite of what is supposed to happen.
It's exactly the opposite of like what would normally happen in these movies. And he just leaves. He goes back out and he leaves her alone there. And then the college kids are like walking through the woods calling for Allison, and Naomi suggests going for the police, but Chad is like, "Oh, we can handle it on our own." And then Chuck is like, "Okay, look, it's my dad's car that we're in. Like, I'm the only one who's allowed to drive it, so I'll go get the cops." Right. I think it's Chuck again. Who knows?
They're all the same.
Yeah, they're all the same person. So Chuck goes off to get his car and go find the cops. And Jason finds the cabin. Jason, I know who Jason is because Jason is the black guy. So you can always tell who he is.
Yeah.
Which is it's unfortunate, but it's like that's the only way I knew which one he was every time because the 3 white guys are all the same dude.
3 dumbass white college guys. Yep.
Yeah, they're just all the same dude. Anyway, so Jason finds the cabin, but they're all afraid to go in. And meanwhile, Dale brings Allison eggs and bacon.
Yum.
Because he figured she didn't like the pancakes.
That's what I'm having for breakfast tomorrow, I think.
Ooh.
I know.
I don't eat bacon, but I do like
my head.
Bacon.
I'll eat some. I don't eat it very often, but I'll eat it tomorrow, and I'll eat it with some hash browns, too. How about that? And some avocado.
Oh, I love hash browns.
What?
Yes.
Now you got it.
If you're doing avocado, you need like some tomato, too. Get that like
Probably not.
avocado and tomato on some toast.
I don't have any tomatoes. Oh, avocado toast is amazing. Now with sardines too, but that's another story.
Oh no, I don't know about the sardines. That's not my jam.
Like I said, that's another story. But all right,
No.
I have a great breakfast plan thanks to this movie. This is awesome.
Yeah, now I'm wishing that I had some fake bacon right now.
The stores are always open. You can go.
This is true.
Not like right now, but like,
Although usually we do veggie sausage instead. There's like this
I'll eat
veggie
those.
like maple flavored sausage that's
I'll eat
really
those.
good.
Some Morningstar Farm maybe or something like that.
For our 5 listeners who don't know me personally, which may mean like there are 2 listeners maybe who don't know me personally. I'm a vegetarian. I eat fish occasionally, but that's it. But like, yeah, so Matt can have the bacon.
Oh, you know what though?
I do the fake stuff.
And I'll eat some turkey. I mean, I eat bacon maybe 2 or 3 times a year or something. It's like, but when I do, yeah, I'm gonna pig out on that. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I remember bacon. It's good.
Yeah, I mean,
it's tasty. I do remember
while,
that.
I mean, you got to live a little bit, right? So.
Oh yeah. So okay. So So now that I'm really hungry.
Yeah, I know, right?
Dale brings Allison the eggs and bacon. She doesn't remember how she got there. So he tells her what happened, and she's like, "Wait, you were spying on us?" And he's like, "No. We were out there fishing." And she realizes that she's wearing his jeans and his like big jeans and big flannel shirt. And they bond a little because he's like, "Oh, sorry, like I didn't have any girl clothes." And she's like, "That's okay. I don't really have any fashion sense anyways." It's like, "Yeah, me neither." And they kind of bond. It's really cute.
It is.
And then he starts like bustling around cleaning, and he's like apologizing for it not being as nice as someone like her would expect. And, and she asks his name, and I love this. He goes, "Tail, Ducker, Dale." And it's it's like so the obvious joke, but it's so cute when he does it.
It's the guy who you're talking to that woman who's so attractive, and you're such an idiot, and you can't even spit your name out. Yeah,
right. Yeah, you can't even say your name properly.
My name? Huh? What? Oh yeah.
And so she tells him that her friends call her Allie. And then she asks if they've got anything to do. And he's like, "Well, do you like board games?"
I mean, who doesn't?
Who doesn't? So back outside the cabin, Mitch or Mitchell,
whatever,
one of the white guys who's
dummies.
not Chad,
yeah,
lost rock, paper, scissors. So he has to go into the cabin. And Tucker is outside, like around the corner, starting up a chainsaw to work on a stump, but there's a beehive inside the stump. So he like gets partway through the stump, and then the beehive is like, all the bees are like bzzz, all over the place. And he runs around the cabin, like waving the chainsaw at the bees. And Mitch is like, "Run for your lives!"
Which is, a great way to get rid of bees with a chainsaw, because that, works so well.
Well, I think he's already got the chainsaw, so he's just like, "Oh shit!" Like doesn't know what he's just like panicking.
He's like Leatherface at the end of the movie, and he's just waving that thing around.
It looks exactly like that, except
that's it.
Covered in a cloud of bees.
There you go.
And so Mitch tells everyone like to run, and they all go charging off. And Mitch, while he's running, is like looking back at Tucker and watching him like so intently that he runs straight into a pointy branch on a tree and impales himself on it.
Sure does.
And then I love this moment. We get the close-up of his face, and a bee just like goes bzzz, and flies over and lands on his nose, and then goes back off right before he dies.
Yes.
It's so good. And then back inside the cabin, Allison and Dale are playing trivia, and he is killing her at the game. I just realized I said killing her. He's not killing her. He's killing her at the game.
He's killing it.
Yeah, he's like,
he's working her. Yeah.
Totally winning, totally beating her butt. And he tells her, well, it's because he's got this weird brain. He says, "I'm dumb as a skunk, but I remember everything."
I like weird. Yeah, right.
And he tells her, he didn't even make it past 3rd grade. And she's like, "Well, there's a difference between education and intellect," which I like.
And you know what? That is there is a very true thing. I can tell you that I have known people who have educations from places like UVA and Johns Hopkins and schools that are outstanding. You know, we're 3.8, 4.0 GPA, and these people can't go to a restaurant and can't order a drink. They're just socially out of it.
Yeah.
And then I met people who have very limited education, and they're some of the smartest people I've been around. It's just, you know, what is intelligent? What does it mean? What does that really mean? I guess, you know, I don't know.
Right. Well, and you can be a very intelligent person who just hasn't gotten an education. Like that's
something
absolutely
that's a society thing that is a construct that's, you know, oh, well, if you don't have, you didn't go to this school, then why would I talk to you, or why would I, you know, that's ridiculous. That
conflating of education with intelligence is
right
is definitely like a societal and kind of a classist thing.
It's pretty stupid.
Yeah. So now that we've gone on our social issues rant,
it was relative.
Yeah, totally related. But anyway, so Allison is in school. She's studying psychology, which will come back a bit later. So Tucker comes back into the cabin, and he's got like boils all over his face from the bees stinging him.
Right.
And he's mad at Tucker for not helping him work. And so Tucker says like, well, you know, he'll pull out the stingers and then he'll go out and help. And Tucker's like, okay, thanks. Which is another thing that I really like about this movie, right? Because Tucker's mad at him for not helping work. Right. And Tucker can be kind of a jerk about stuff.
Yeah.
But you can tell that he really loves Dale and that he really isn't a bad guy when like Tucker's like, when Dale is like, I'm sorry, you know, I'll pull out the singers for you and then we can help. And he's like, okay, thanks.
Right.
Like you can tell that he's still a good guy. Like,
oh yeah,
even though he's a little more,
you get to see the dynamic of their relationship.
Yeah. He's a little more pushy and bossy, but like, he's still a good guy.
Right. It's funny.
And so Tucker tells them that he saw one of Allison's friends running real hard. He says, must have been allergic to bees.
Yeah.
And Dale says, you know, they'll go find her friends for her. So meanwhile, back at the ranch, the college kids
behind the facade of this innocent looking bookstore. Sorry. That's from a Great White Zombie song, but it's the voice of the guy that it's from Batman. Remember the Batman show?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, that's what it is. It's a sample.
Like the 60s Batman show?
Yes. It is. I'll try to remember it's from their first. It's from White Zombie's first CD. I'm trying to remember the name of the song.
So we're getting our musical.
Well, you know, I'm going to talk about White Zombie at every. Yeah, and it's this great just sample of that, and it's the guy going, "Meanwhile, behind the facade of this innocent-looking bookstore." It's great. Sorry, I don't know where that came from.
It came from me saying "meanwhile."
It came from the heart. Yes, it did come. You're right. Okay, sorry. Moving on.
So the college kids are outside still. They find Mitch like impaled on this tree, and immediately decide that Tucker and Dale killed him and left him there as a message to get out of their woods.
That's right.
And the girls want to go to the road and just catch a ride out of there and like never turn back. But Chad is like, it's us versus them. And they hear Tucker and Dale coming. So they all like duck down and hide behind this fallen tree. And I love this part. Dale is telling Tucker, see, now I'm doing it.
You can't even say the names. Yeah, come on now.
I can't say his name. Dale is telling Tucker about how he's beaten the pants off Allison at trivia. And he says, when we get back to the cabin, I'll finish her off real quick and then we'll get back to work.
Yeah.
And then they start calling for the college kids. And literally they're calling for the college kids. College kids! Hey, college kids! And of course the kids don't answer because they're scared to death. So they're like, well, let's leave a note. And they don't have anything to write a note with. So they get the axe that Chad had left nearby and they like carve the note into a log. And it says, we got your friend. Although friend is misspelled, but it says we got your friend.
Right.
And then they go back to the cabin. And so Tucker is like loading felled trees
A felled tree, yes.
Yes, felled trees.
Felled.
Yes.
Felled, yes.
Felled.
I like that word, and it doesn't get used enough.
Yes. Felled. It's been felled. Not felt, felled.
Felled. No, it's a good word that I've only heard a few times used, and I think I'm going to try to add it to my vocabulary.
Yeah, do. It's a good word.
If nothing else we do for you people today, we hope to add more to your vocabulary. So.
Yeah, definitely. That's what we're here for. That's really what this show is all about.
There's an alternative. There's an alternate agenda to this whole thing. So
yeah, definitely. So he's loading the felled trees into the chipper, and Dale is digging a hole. And Allison comes out, and she's like refashioned his jeans and flannel into capris and like a cropped sort of tank top thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like stunned, like, because he, loves her and thinks she's beautiful. And so he's totally stunned. And she asks what he's doing, and he tells her he's digging a crapper hole. And Allison wants to help. And she tells him, well, I grew up on a farm, so I've actually done this before.
Right.
So she starts helping. And then the college kids see her digging, and one of them says, again, one of the white boys, who knows which one, says, that sick fuck, he's making her dig her own grave. And they split up to go around the cabin like each way, except for Jason, who's like, I'm just going to stay right here. And so they go around each direction. And Chad yells, now! And they all charge. And Mike has this pointed stick. Again, I think it's Mike. He has a pointed stick.
Was it Mike or Mitch?
Well, I think there's a Mike and a Mitch.
Go ahead. You were like right in the middle of this. I'm sorry.
I know. I think there's a Mike and a Mitch and a Chuck.
There's too many. Go ahead. Sorry.
So he runs for Dale with a pointed stick, but because Mitch is already dead, so it can't be Mitch. Can't be Mitch.
Okay, there you go.
I think it's Mike. Isn't it Mike? Isn't the other guy's name Mike? Oh, God. Yeah, it's Mike. It's Mike.
It takes me a few times to watch a movie to remember the names, but go ahead.
Yeah, well, see, this is why I have to take notes when I watch these movies, because otherwise I'll never remember any of it.
You don't have movie brain like I do.
I don't. It's so disappointing that I don't have it. I wish I did.
There's a lot of technology.
You're like Dale. You have the brain that like remembers everything.
Lots random stupid crap that doesn't matter. Yes, it's full of it.
Yes, that's what you have. I don't have that.
Well, there's a lot of technology now. Maybe you could have that.
Well, my technology is OneNote, so
okay.
That's my technology for remembering this shit.
All right.
So Chad yells now, and they all charge, and Mike is running for Dale with a pointed stick, but in a comedy of errors.
Yes.
Which this whole movie is just a comedy of errors, but Allie pulls Dale out of the way, and Dale's got the shovel from them digging the shitter, and so he like turns when she pulls him out of the way. He gets turned and he bangs her in the head with a shovel on accident.
Yeah. And
while Mike like stumbles, plants the stick firmly in the hole, like with the sharp end up, and impales himself on it. So we've got two impalements.
So far you've got some decent
like the first
violence.
10-15 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, you got some decent violence happening.
And then Dale falls into the hole next to him, and he's like crying while Mike's blood is like spurting out onto him. It's so funny.
Yes.
That's so good. And then at the same time, Todd, I think it's Todd, has a short knife that he goes for Tucker with. But Tucker's, in front of the wood chipper, and so he bends down, and Todd vaults right over him.
These hilarious,
dives headfirst into the wood chipper.
And then, of course, what do we all think of what movie do we think of when someone lands in a wood chipper?
Oh, God, I don't even know offhand.
Oh, you should have been able to answer this immediately.
I should know this.
Yes, you should. Incredible movie. Person in the wood chipper. Police catch them while they're shredding this person.
Oh, wait, is it Fargo?
Yes, thank you.
Fargo, yeah,
I was
okay.
like, I can't give you any more clues here. We're going to be here all night. So, yes, Fargo.
No, yeah, Fargo, okay. I was...
He's sticking his leg in there.
I was thinking of, like, horror movies and was like, what am I missing?
No,
what
I just meant in general. No, wood chipper
yeah,
scene.
Fargo, definitely. Yes.
So I like the references here.
So he vaults like head first into the wood chipper, and Tucker like tries to pull him back out by the legs, but it is like way too late. It's just it's way too late. And then
isn't that scene later then too where he starts to drag him? His head.
Oh yes,
and like,
we'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay, I like the line he says.
Yes, I think I have it, but I'll let you say it.
No, go ahead.
So Dale carries Allie into the cabin because she's knocked out again.
Right.
And then Tucker comes in and he's covered in blood too. And they tell each other what happened. And Tucker tells Dale, well, it must be a suicide pack. They're coming in and killing themselves all over the woods. And Dale is like, well, they must be trying to kill Allie too, or else why would they act so strange about us saving her? And Dale wants to tell the police. But Tucker says, only a moron would believe what happened here. So they decide they've got to clean it all up. And again, I'll say, meanwhile,
I looked it up. Okay, real quick.
Right.
It is this. It's Cosmic Monsters Inc., which is the name of the song from the first CD. And
from the line, meanwhile.
Yeah, and that line is from the episode Zelda the Great of a 1966 Batman episode.
Nice.
Cosmic Monsters Inc. That's the White Zombie song. So there you go.
Nice surreptitious lookup and waiting till I said meanwhile again to like slip it in there.
It's one of my favorite CDs.
Very well done.
I love Devil Music Volume 1 from White Zombie. It's fantastic.
Very, very impressed right now that you like went and looked that up while I was talking without being noticeable.
I wanted
to waited until I said meanwhile again to like spring it.
That was not the plan for you to say it again. I was going to get it in at some point, but that just happened to work out. I wanted to know because like it was making me mad that I couldn't remember the name of the song. So
yeah. I get that. I totally get that. I'm looking stuff up on my phone like constantly when I'm like, what's the name of that? Damn it.
So for you viewers out there, listeners out there, La Sexorcisto, Devil Music Volume 1, 1991 by White Zombie. Get it.
All right. I'll have to try it out on my Google Music.
It's so good.
Okay, so back to the story. Chloe is trying to light a cigarette, and I love this part. Jason tells her, well, she shouldn't be smoking anyway because it's not good for her. And she's like, yeah, well, fucking dying isn't good for you either, but that doesn't seem to be stopping anybody.
That line is pretty good. That was pretty good.
And so yet again, the girls are like saying, we've got to get out of here. And Naomi says they shouldn't have even come out here, and ask whose stupid idea it was. And Chloe says, Chad. And Chad tells them they're all a bunch of fucking pussies and says, a few little tiny murders and everyone just freaks out. How many people do you think get a chance like this? And he tells them there's no rules out here. It's us against them. And if they can't handle that, then maybe they deserve to die. And Jason's just like, well, that's fucked up.
Right.
And so then the cops show up with Chuck. And Chloe, Naomi, and Jason come screaming out of the woods, and they all pile into the back of the police car. And here comes your spot, your part. Tucker and Dale getting the dead kid out of the wood chipper so they can hide the body. And what's your line?
Oh, I don't know if it's amazing. It just I remember him saying for a half guy, he's pretty damn heavy or something.
Yeah,
that. I just thought,
he's heavy for half a guy or something like that.
Heavy for half a guy. I just thought that was kind of they're just dragging this like half a corpse out of there, and
they've each got one leg.
Right. It's just such like a random like the fact they're even talking at this moment is like what is happening.
Well, and the best part is they're trying to hide it, so they're dragging it, and the police car pulls up, and they just stand there with it. And I think it's Tucker drops it, and Dale is just still holding a leg. And they just stand there.
Because it's like, what would
like
you do?
Frozen.
You'd freeze like that. What would you do?
Yeah, you're just like,
Oh my God. It's funny.
So Dale tells the cop, well, we have had a doozy of a day, and proceeds to explain how they were just working on his new house, and these kids came out here and started killing themselves. And I love this. He says, Now, I don't know how much experience you've had with this, but we were scared shitless. And the cop comes towards them and he's like, you must think I'm some kind of moron to believe a story like that. And they assure him that they do not. And they mention that Allison is in Dale's bedroom. And they're like, and you're telling me you got a girl in the cabin? There's, he says, well, we better show you what we've done with her.
Right.
And so
everything it's just so funny because they're saying all these things.
Yeah, just the way they phrase everything.
Right, it's great. It's great.
It just sounds so bad. And so the cop comes inside with them and he checks Allie's pupils and he says, well, at least she's not brain dead. But he says, I told you boys to stay away from this place, but you wouldn't listen, would you? Now you're looking at least 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter, but you'd be lucky to get that. And as he's finishing his little tirade, he leans against the pole and the board comes thwack right down and slams into his face.
Sure does.
And he falls out the front door and he staggers around with the nails like sticking out of his head. Like the nails on the board are like stuck in his head. And he just dies.
Yep.
And so Chuck gets out of the car. Again, I think it's Chuck. I'll just say it every time. I think it's Chuck. He gets out of the car. He grabs the cop's gun and he aims it at Tucker and Dale and tries to shoot. And Dale tells him, oh, you got to take the safety off the side there.
And you know what's about to happen. And you're just like, oh my God, what is going on here?
So he's trying to take the safety off and he's turning it back and forth and he turns it right at his own face. He points at his face and just
he blows his
shoots
brains
himself
out.
In the face when he gets the safety off.
Sure does. And they, what is it? Is that the part where the girls are in the car and they watch it from in the car? I think it just splatters everywhere. Right?
Yeah, they're all inside the car. Like the girls and Jason are like all inside the car, like screaming. Boom.
So yeah, the violence. I mean, the movie's funny, but the violence is pretty good at this point too, right?
Yeah, no, the kills are good and they're pretty creative.
They're good.
Like barring the fact that 2 people got impaled in a row.
I like that.
They're creative kills.
Yeah.
And so now Chad runs out of the woods with his axe and he grabs the gun and he's like firing at Tucker and Dale and they run back inside the cabin. And as they lay on the floor, they have their big friend fight.
Yes.
That you always have in a buddy movie, right?
I love it.
Tucker tells Dale, none of this would have happened if it weren't for you. You're always being such a good Samaritan. And Dale says, none of this would have happened if we hadn't gone fishing. I don't even like fishing. and I love this. Then Tucker's like, what do you mean you don't like fishing? And Dale goes, I mean, I like it okay.
Right.
I'm sorry, Tucker. Did I hurt your feelings? I'm sorry. And Tucker just goes, yeah, you kind of did.
Just turns into this totally different vibe of them.
It's this like honesty that they have as friends.
Yes,
like they're not this like
funny.
He's like, yeah, you kind of did. It kind of did
funny.
hurt my feelings. And Dale realizes suddenly that his dog is still outside. So he looks out the window and here's the part we all hate. Chad has got a gun to the dog's head.
Yeah, we don't like that.
Not cool, Chad.
No, not so much.
Cool.
Not cool.
So Tucker and Dale get the nail gun. They have this huge nail gun in the cabin.
Yep.
And they start it up and Tucker tells Dale to create a distraction with the nail gun while he goes out the back door to get the dog. And so Dale's like yelling and firing the nail gun and Tucker sneaks up behind the college kids and he gets the dog away. But then Chad sees him, like he like slips the dog's collar loose. The dog can run away, but he's laying down on the ground to do it. And Chad just turns around and sees him there. And he's like, oops. And he just runs. And all the college kids are running after him. And Tucker hides behind a fallen log. But Chad finds him and he knocks him out with his axe. And Tucker comes to hanging upside down in a tree.
Yep.
And Chad, and Chad like threatens him with the axe and he slashes at him. And back in the cabin, Allie wakes up to Dale holding an ice pack to her head. And she sees the blood in his shirt and is like, what happened? And he starts crying. And she calms him down. And so he tells her what happened. She's like, there must be some kind of mistake. And then there's a bang on the door. And Allie's like, I'll clear up the misunderstanding. And she goes out. Nobody's there, but she finds a package on the porch. And there are 2 of Tucker's fingers in it, guys. There are 2 of Tucker's fingers in it.
So that reminds me of Blair Witch again, too, when they find Josh's stuff tied up in that bundle in the morning, remember?
The teeth.
Yeah, remember that?
Blah, so gross.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
you're right. Yeah, you're right. But Tucker sees the fingers and he says, oh my God, they cut off his bowling fingers.
Yeah, that's right.
And there's a note with it that says, now we got your friend. Try and get him.
Right.
So he says he's got to go get Tucker back. And he grabs a machete. And she's like, well, I'm sure that we can de-escalate things. They must have thought you were trying to harm me.
She's
and
trying to be the mediator and everything, yeah.
And then she has to admit that it's because, like, back at the gas station, they thought Tucker and Dale looked a little creepy. And he says, well, I was nervous. I don't know how to talk to girls.
Yeah.
And she apologizes for misjudging them. And he says, and this is so, again, this is like so like real and sad. He's like, don't be sorry. It's my fault. I should have known if a guy like me talked to a girl like you, somebody'd end up dead. So sad, but also so kind of funny.
Odd thing to say, but yeah, it's funny.
Like, I mean, as all these people have died, it makes sense to say, right? Like,
yeah.
Especially since he's the kind of guy who seems to blame himself for everything.
He does. It's always his fault, right? Yeah.
Yeah, right. So he leaves and he goes to look for Tucker in the woods, and he finds Tucker's hat and he puts it on over his own, which was just a little moment that I thought was cute.
Mm.
Doesn't mean anything. Just thought it was cute.
You like it, okay?
And Tucker, he finds Tucker, and he hears Tucker saying, you know, it's a trap. Tucker's hanging there still. But it's too late, and a spear comes out of the trees, and it lands right between Dale's legs.
I liked his line he said after that. Then that was funny.
You want to say it?
What was it? He said, "Oh man, I'm glad first time in my life or whatever. I'm glad I'm not hung like a bear or something."
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, and he cuts Tucker down, and it's that old moment that you always see when someone cuts someone down from a tree and something funny, and they're like, wait, and they cut him down, they go thunk on the ground.
Yeah. Right.
And so meanwhile, Chad and Naomi sneak up and into the cabin, and they find Allie, and she tells them that Tucker and Dale didn't do anything to her, and she tries to stop Chad as he's like throwing gasoline around the cabin.
We got to burn the place down.
He's like throwing it around. And he suddenly just throws down the gasoline can and turns to her. He's like, you have no idea what this is all about, do you? And he tells her, these freaks are evil and they deserve everything that's coming to them.
Because?
Well, we'll get there.
Right.
And Naomi says Allie must have Stockholm syndrome.
Like, yeah, I heard about this once in my, where...
I learned about this in my sociology class. It's when
Right.
someone gets kidnapped and falls in love with their kidnapper.
Right.
And Chad, when he hears that, whew, you're falling in love with him? Tell me
Yeah.
you're not falling in love with that
Right.
freak, Allison.
Right.
And he grabs Allie's throat and he's like strangling her basically. And
He's
Dale,
a mean guy.
yeah, he is not okay.
No, he's
Dale
not.
bursts in with Tucker behind him, and Allie is like trying to chill everybody out. So she says she'll make tea and they can all
Yes.
just talk this out.
And don't they have like a conversation about, well, I don't really like, whatchamacallit, I like the Earl Grey or
yeah,
something.
well, no, Chad says it better not be chamomile because my asthma.
Yes. Which
He
is
says-
important.
Yeah, he says it better not be chamomile because it give me asthma.
Yeah.
Which will come back.
Yep.
And then she seats Chad and Dale across from each other at the table, and she starts to like therapy them.
It's hilarious, I know.
And Chad starts by telling them about his parents being attacked by hillbillies a long time ago in the Memorial Day massacre, and how his mom escaped but his dad didn't. And outside, Jason and Chloe are getting ready to attack because Chad and Naomi have been gone too long. And so they burst in. And Jason has a weed whacker.
And I love
And
this
he
is the best
goes
murder.
after Tucker with it. But Tucker like steps aside or something. He gets Naomi instead, like
Just
right in the face.
Carves her face apart. I love it. It's the best kill scene in the movie, right? It's got
Well, she's not even dead yet because she
well,
grabs.
it's the best like attack scene. Yeah, yeah.
So he gets her in the face, and then Chad upends the table into Dale and tries to hack at him with the axe, and Tucker punches him and frees Dale, and then Chad throws the kerosene lantern at them, but he hits Jason with it,
And lights him up.
and Chloe picks up a jug and throws it on him, thinking it's water, but it's
Right.
moonshine. And Dale and Tucker know that, so they're like, no, and
Right.
he goes up in flames. Jason
So
just
flammable.
living torch. And then the flames run along this trail of gasoline as Chloe sits down and lights a cigarette.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh crap. And then Tucker and Dale grab Allie and get outside. And Chad tries to go after him, but Naomi grabs his leg, like, and she's like, help me. And he's like trying to shake her off. And the cabin blows up just as Tucker, Dale, and Allie get out.
Boom.
And they sit there and they watch it. And Allie says, I'm a terrible therapist.
Yeah.
And Dale says, no, don't say that. I thought you did a great job in there.
He's so supportive.
And
like no matter what happens, he's like supportive.
yeah, and I just realized y'all are getting treated to my horrible Southern or my horrible like hick accent.
I was gonna say, as we've gone on, you've kind of slowly like been getting more into it.
I know I've been getting a little more hicky, but I think it's pretty awful. Anyways, I do not think it's accurate. Okay. It's reminding me of Secret Window with the fake
divorce,
the fake hillbilly accent, divorce. Yeah. So they see in the like burning house, they see Chad stand up, and Tucker says, I think we should go to the pickup truck right now.
Yeah.
But Allie's like, well, maybe we should help him. And he takes a very dramatic puff on his inhaler and lets out this primal yell. And they all just run for the truck. And of course it won't start at first.
No.
But they finally get it. And Dale looks back as they speed away. And Dale is like looking back like, crazy college kid can't catch us now. And boom, they crash into a tree.
They sure do.
So Dale wakes up to the dog licking his face. And Allison is gone. And Tucker's laying against a tree, all like in bad shape.
Banged up, yeah.
And he says, Chad took her. And he tried to stop him. And he says, and Dale says, I never should have tried to talk to her. People like me and people like her don't mix. And Tucker tells him that's not true. And he reminds him of how they used to compete to see who could catch more frogs when they were kids.
No matter what situation we're in, we're always in this like life, discussion of some sort. Like
yes. There's always this like.
Oh my God, it's so funny.
It's all about the relationships.
Yes, it really is.
It really is, which I think is part of what makes it a good movie, right? Is that
we just had this horrible car accident.
Really is these real people in these like real relationships, even though it's this blown up to like times 10 craziness of everything. And so he says, well, when we used to catch frogs when we were a little kid, he tells them that, Tucker tells Dale that he used to let him catch more, or tell him that he let him catch more because he felt sorry for him. And he says, but that wasn't true. You were just quicker than me. And he says, and he thinks he's better than he thinks he is. He tells Dale, you're better than you think you are. And he says, you have to go after her. She needs you now more than ever, especially because she keeps falling down and knocking her head. And then he says, and kick the shit out of that little college shithead, will you?
That was good.
And Dale and the dog follow the trail to a logging mill. And Chad is tying Allie to a log that's lined up with a huge saw, which is like literally every Penny Dreadful Western. From
this dude now, he's all burned up. He looks like
he's crispy.
Looks like what's his face from Batman, Harvey Dent, right?
Oh yeah, because he's all crispy down one side. Yeah. So it's
our second Batman reference. Wow.
Yeah, woo. A lot of Batman today. Different ones too.
I know, the original series and then the Dark Knight.
So Chad's tying Allie to the log, and he says, "You've gone hillbilly on me, Allison. Now I'm willing to forgive you, but you gotta beg." And he kisses her like, it's gross. A gross kiss.
It's pretty gross.
It's not okay. And Dale knocks the lock off the shed and gets geared up to fight. Right? He's in the shed for the logging mill. Yeah. He gets the welding mask. The welding mask, that's what it's called. And like all this other gear.
Mm-hmm.
and he goes over and he starts to untie Allie. But I love it when he first goes over.
Yes.
And she sees him and she's like,
Is that you?
and
Like,
he's
don't
like,
worry.
it's me. He lifts up the thing.
okay.
He's like, it's me.
It's okay. Don't worry.
And then he's like, do I look intimidating? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, good.
That was great.
So he starts to untie her, but Chad powers up the saw. And after making his like bad guy speech, Dale is like starting to saw the ropes off her, and Chad kicks him in the face and they start fighting. And Dale gets the axe and he throws it like this heroic throw, and he manages
Sideways,
to just slice the rope off.
Right before she,
right before the saw gets her like back of her head, so she can get free. And then Dale gets the better of Chad, but he doesn't kill him. He and Allison run upstairs, and while they're looking for another weapon, like a better weapon, Allie finds a newspaper with an article about the Memorial Day killer being caught.
Yeah.
And this is when we learn that Chad's father was the Memorial Day killer.
That's right, people.
And they show it to Chad, and he freaks out.
No.
Yeah, he's like, no, it's not true. It can't be true. And then he's like, that's why they didn't tell me. That's why they said my father was dead and all this stuff. And so as Chad comes at Dale throws something in his face. And it turns out that it's chamomile tea that he had noticed while they were looking for a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Dale tells Allie. Dale tells Allie that, Chad will be okay as long as we can get him his inhaler. But Chad staggers around and falls out the window and dies.
And they're like, oh, well, or that'll happen or something.
Yeah, he's like, he'll be okay as long as we can get him his inhaler. Boom.
Or
out he
not.
goes out the window.
Yeah, or not. He's dead.
And then the next scene is a reporter standing outside the cabin talking about the mass suicide and deranged killer on the TV.
Right.
And the TV turns out to be in Tucker's hospital room. And he tells Dale that they found his fingers. And he's holding them up, but one of them is definitely a woman's finger. Like it has red nail polish on it.
Pretty funny.
And I love this. Dale brought Tucker a beer with a bendy straw.
Yep. And he had the koozie on it, I think, and everything, right?
So
and he had the straw
cute.
for it.
See, I have my koozie.
Yep. There you go.
And Tucker asked Dale if he asked Allie out. And he starts it like, I didn't really get a chance. But then he tells him that they're going bowling.
Yes.
And while they're out bowling, Dale gives Allie a present. And it's a pink helmet, which is the cutest thing.
You should wear it all the time, he says.
And he's like, you should really wear it all the time. And he starts to tell her how he feels about her, but she just kisses him and says, I feel the same way too. And that's the end.
Yay.
Yay. I love this movie.
I'd never seen it. I thought it was pretty, it's not scary. And I mean, it uses, the tropes of like a scary movie, but it's really more comedy than anything, obviously.
I love this movie. And you know what I just realized? I didn't even do trivia because I was just so excited to talk about the movie.
Yeah, that's okay. No, I mean, it's definitely worth watching. It's a small budget movie. I think it went to South by Southwest or something. It was at a limited release. It wasn't a huge, blockbuster movie by any means. But it's got a great fun. People like you, they love it. It's definitely funny. I mean, the writing is strong. The characters, it's just, that part is like so funny. And it's just like, these random times when you would never expect it. Why would you be having a conversation about that after a car accident? Like, where is this coming from? And it's the whole flip of the script of, the hillbillies are not the evil. It's these stupid college kids that end up basically killing themselves. They don't really kill themselves, but they kill themselves.
Other than Chad being like the actual killer, right? Being like the bad guy.
Right.
Other than Chad being an actual bad guy, all the college kids are exactly what they would be in a standard horror movie. They are the Friday the 13th
high school kids. Yeah, the college kids or whatever. Yes, they are.
But it just points out how awful those kids actually are in all those other movies. Like, they're horrid.
They're not, it shows, in the other movies like a Friday, they're these, innocent kids that get killed. When this movie, they're these just like privileged little brats that, are just, nasty little, nothings basically. So it's like, and they're after these guys who've done nothing. It's just these mistaken identities and these just foil fumbles and all these just funny things that are just randomly happening that, it's not like, to me, like laugh out loud. Some of it's kind of awkward sometimes, but I mean, it's definitely fun. I sat there and laughed for quite a bit of it. It definitely was entertaining.
Yeah. I love this movie. Like I said, I've watched it like 5 times now.
Okay.
This time, instead of renting it, I just bought it.
Good. Why not?
Because I know I'll watch it. It was like $1 more, and I know I'll watch it again.
Sure.
So now I have it. I can watch it whenever I want. I can make as many people as I want watch it. Come over to my house and watch the movie.
You'll have a lot of people that will want to.
I kind of am having trouble forgiving myself for forgetting to like look up all my trivia, but I was just so excited about talking about the movie that it just slipped my mind completely, guys.
Maybe we'll have trivia another time. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll do a trivia episode on this later or something.
There you go.
Maybe there's not even all that much trivia. No, there's not even all that much trivia. Wait, I can read you a few trivias right now.
Okay.
Okay, check this out. A special feature on the DVD plays the movie from the college kid's perspective, in which Tucker and Dale are murderous villains.
Interesting.
It was shelved for about 3 years before it was finally released.
Okay.
Oh, and we didn't mention this part, but when Tucker has the bee stings, he pours beer on his face to like cool off and like treat the bee stings.
Mm-hmm.
Alan Tudyk came up with that idea.
Okay.
Oh, and the Giver hat that we liked so much.
The Giver, yeah.
Okay. So they chose it, yes, one, because it looks like the word giver, alluding to his kind nature, which we already talked about. But it is, and I didn't know this, it is also the Canadian equivalent of get her done.
Okay.
Which is like a Canadian redneck phrase. I guess it was popularized by Larry the Cable Guy.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's actually is a redneck thing in Canada.
Okay.
So
Canadian
kind of
rednecks
works in both ways.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know much about Canadian redneck culture. That's interesting to know. Thank you for that.
Yeah. And then, the line. I think it's after Tucker asked Dale to get the asshole college kid. Dale says, "I'm going to shove my boot down his fucking throat." And that's the only time Dale swears in the movie. Even though there are several swears in the movie, that's the only time he does.
Okay, yeah. He's a good person. He doesn't, you know.
Yeah. He's a good guy.
That's pretty
And
funny.
I just love, like, I'm a sucker, like, anyways, not just with horror movies, but with any movies. I'm a sucker for, like friend movies. Like, I love the movie I Love You, Man. It's so stupid. I know it is. But it gets bond. Me. Like, it gets me. Yeah. They love each other. Like, Bridemaids, it gets me. Like,
sure.
They're friends and it matters. And, like...
You like it. You don't want to still, like,
even if they have bad times together,
violence.
they love each other. Yeah, like, I love that shit. I love that.
No, it's nice. And this... It works well because it's funny for this setting too, so it's good.
Yeah, I'm a total sucker for that stuff. Completely.
That's funny.
Complete sucker.
No, it was definitely funny. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. You know what?
I know you did. Yes,
I enjoyed it.
You liked it a whole lot.
What do we have up next? Can I tell you?
I would love. It would probably be helpful for me to know.
It's another one that I'm very excited about.
It would be helpful for me.
Drag Me to Hell.
I have seen this film, but it's not totally in the memory box up here, so I'm going to need to watch it again.
Oh, you're actually going to watch it again before we do it. All right.
Yeah, I've only seen it once, and I need to watch it again. I liked it. I think I liked it.
See, dear listeners, I have to watch everything at least once right before we do it and like take notes and stuff because my memory, my brain is a sieve. Matt often is just like, yeah, I watched it 6 years ago. I remember everything. And then he'll like quote things from it during the podcast.
The thing is, though, when I say I watched it 6 years ago for the most recent time, I had probably seen it 15 times before that, though. So it's in the catalog,
Dude,
it's in the file.
Okay, fair. I mean,
it's there.
There's a couple movies that I watched that many times when I was a kid that I still have a lot of the lines in my head.
Dude, some of these movies, quite frankly,
I just
some
don't
of them,
watch movies that many times anymore, I guess.
I don't anymore so much, but I'd seen them. But in the years past, I've seen them so many times, they're just in my brain. They're there.
Yeah.
They're just there.
I feel like there's a lot of them that are just there for you, though. So it makes me feel like I have a little pea brain that forgets everything.
No, it just, you know what it is? It depends on what you want to remember. It's what you want to.
Yeah, we'll call it that. I have other important things to remember.
What could possibly
or forget, as the case may be.
What could possibly be more important than remembering?
Dude, I don't know. I would like for these things to be what I remember. I would like to remember like
you want to be the
funny
person
lines and all that stuff. I want to be that person.
You want to be the person that can say to somebody that you've forgotten more about scary movies than anyone could ever remember, right?
Well, I already probably am that person. It's just that I've forgotten. It's all forgotten. None of it's remembered.
It's all gone.
I've forgotten more about horror movies than you've ever seen because I just forget everything about every horror movie I see.
That's not
if
true.
I don't write it down.
It's not true. There's plenty you remember. There's plenty you remember from scary movies.
It depends on the movie, I guess. Anyways, as you've all listened to us talk about our modes of watching scary movies and remembering.
Leaving an impression, like, and not just a movie. I mean, anything can leave, like a TV show or a moment, and you're going to leave you an impression.
Well, that's a lot of things that I love. They still leave an impression with me, but I don't always remember, like, details exactly.
There's good memories and there's bad memories of things, too. So, you could love a movie, you could hate a movie, but you might remember it,
Yeah, fair. I probably remember more specific things from Children of the Corn than I do from some things that I love.
And you hate Children of the Corn.
Yeah, exactly. So
there you go. A movie that I like. A movie that I like.
Yeah. Ugh, Children of the Corn, such a stupid movie. Ugh.
Now,
Anyways,
did you ever see the sci-fi remake that they did like 10 years ago?
No.
I wonder if you would like it better. I don't even know if you could find it anymore. Yeah, so for a while, Sci-Fi was doing this thing where they were making their own productions and they were making their own movies and they were airing them on Saturday nights. I gave them a chance. Some of them, they're low budget. They weren't great. But they made a Children of the Corn. They're supposed to be a little more faithful to the book. I didn't hate it, but I don't know where you'd have to Google it to find it now. I don't even know where you could find it, but give it a try.
I'll have to see if I can find it. Maybe I'll give it a shot.
Try. Yeah.
Anyways, everybody, our 5 listeners, or the one who's stuck with us through all this.
No, it's 6. Remember,
it's 6 now. Oh, right, it's 6 now.
Yes.
So please, guys, don't forget. Here's our ending plea. Don't forget to subscribe or follow the podcast, so that you get all the new episodes. You'll get notified when they come out. Rate and review us on Apple Podcast or wherever you're listening. Spotify, I don't know. I listen on Player FM. That's my favorite, but you can't review there, so that doesn't really help. Anyways, review us wherever you can or want to.
iHeartRadio?
On Facebook. Hey, iHeartRadio might be one, yeah.
So my jam on, you're mentioning, my jam on iHeartRadio is Smells Like the 90s, greatest music station.
Very nice.
When you're done listening to that, you can listen to us also. So.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because we are on iHeartRadio, so you can listen to both.
Yes. Yeah, and you should. Yes.
You can get all of it, everything you need in one place. iHeart the 90s, which for us smells like nostalgia.
Smells like the 90s. Love it.
And your Scary Movie Project. You can get it all on iHeartRadio or wherever you're listening. You can find it pretty much anywhere. And don't forget to send us your movie suggestions. We're always looking for those. Your thoughts on movies we've watched so far. Oh my gosh, wait, did somebody request this movie? I feel like somebody requested Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Oh, I was going to ask, this one or the next one? I don't remember which.
I feel like someone requested, give me a second.
Well, whoever you are, thank you, and here you go.
Let me think. Somebody requested Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Somebody.
Who would this person be?
Who was it? Who requested Tucker and Dale versus Evil? Who are you?
Who are
I'm not
you?
looking this up as I talk. I'm just thinking in my head. Oh,
Stalling.
two people did.
Okay.
Two people did.
Who are
Sarah
wonderful people?
A.,
Okay.
our dear friend from Laughing with Gingers,
Okay.
and
They're our dear friends.
and also Cameron Baker recommended it, who we
All
had
right.
on when we did Secret Window.
Yes. Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you both, and because you got me to watch it now, so that's awesome. Thank you.
Yes, that was such a great recommendation. Thank you both for recommending it.
You
I was going to make Matt watch it at some point anyways, but thank you guys.
You get no prize or anything for this, but thank you for telling us.
No, you get mentioned on the podcast, guys.
Okay, and that's worth
it's a very desirable
gold.
prize.
Yeah, it is pretty.
So
desirable.
don't forget, if
I'm
you send
pretty
us your movie
desirable.
suggestions and we remember, we will say your name on the podcast. How about that?
Yes. That's worth a lot.
So send them to us. Email us, thescarymovieproject@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at The Scary Movie Project. Guys, we are here for you. Like, let us know what you want from us. Let us know what you want us to talk about.
How
Let
can
us
someone
know.
like me help? How can someone like me help someone like you? Right?
Yes. Help me to help you. Help me
Right.
to help you. Help me
How could a person like me go and help someone like you?
Oh, all right. Yeah.
Are you done?
Yeah. Later, gators.
Remember, everybody, it's always better to be useful, not useless.
The Scary Movie Project podcast is produced by Tara Garwood and Matt Lulich. Learn more at thescarymovieproject.com.